Good morning from the news team in the southeast. UKIP councillors in Thanet say they'll meet in the next few days to discuss their future. Well, last night the council voted against its local plan, which included proposals to build 2,500 homes on the former Manston Airport site. UKIP's leader Chris Wells has provoked anger after he went back on a pledge to reopen Manston Airport and may now face a vote of no confidence. Thanet is the only council in the country run by UKIP. A number of MRSA cases have been confirmed at the Darrant Valley Hospital in Dartford. 7 patients have contracted the so-called superbug, which can live harmlessly on the skin, while MRSA can cause a serious infection if it gets deeper inside the body and is resistant to many antibiotics. The hospital says the patients have the infection on their skin and are not unwell as a result. Health managers in Kent say their plans to close its existing stroke units and replace them with 3 larger centres will provide better care for patients. Well, the new centres will be called hyper-acute stroke units. They'll each be staffed by specialists and therapists with consultants on the wards every day. The NHS is planning to close its 7 existing centres in the county and says although patients will have to travel further, their care will still improve. Hastings is getting £6 million of government funding to improve literacy, numeracy and mental health support for young people in the town. According to research, teenagers in Hastings are more likely to be out of education, employment or other training than other areas of the county. Well, the Essential Life Skills Fund has been set up to encourage participation in extracurricular activities and support for families. To football now, and Brighton and Hove Albion host defending Premier League champions Chelsea at the Amex in tomorrow's lunchtime kick-off. The Seagulls, who lost at West Brom last weekend, have slipped to just 3 points above the relegation zone. Crawley Town travel to Newport County tonight in League 2. Kick-off is at 7:45. Tomorrow in League 1, Charlton Athletic are at home to Walsall, while Gillingham travel to Scunthorpe United. Both games kick off at 3 p.m. We're now with a look at the weather. Here's Georgina.
Good morning. It's another fairly breezy day ahead of us. And you'll probably notice
President Trump is under international and domestic pressure to help determine what happened to Mr. Khashoggi and punish Saudi Arabia if investigations show its government had him killed. And though he's promised severe punishment, sanctions on arms don't seem to be on the cards.
When we take away $110 billion of purchases from our country, that hurts our workers, that hurts our factories, that hurts all of our companies. You know, you're talking about 500,000 jobs.
There's a warning of large tailbacks on the M23, with the motorway currently shut northbound between junctions 10 and 9 for resurfacing work. Well, this is the first of 4 weekends of closures, with the carriageway not reopening until 4 a.m. on Monday morning. Drivers travelling northbound from Crawley to Gatwick Airport are being advised to find alternative routes, and diversions are in place. The RSPCA are searching for homes for 200 budgies after they were removed from a house in Sussex. Inspectors initially removed over 350 of the birds, which were flying free around the property in Brighton, after the owner was unable to cope with them. Well, almost half were taken in by rehoming centres, but the charity is asking people who may be interested in taking some of the birds to contact them. Football now, and in the Premier League, Brighton and Hove Albion suffered a 2-0 defeat away at West Brom. In League 1, Charlton won at Bury 1-0 and Gillingham secured a 2-1 victory against Rochdale. Success also for Crawley Town in League 2 with a 2-0 win at home to Barnet. Now let's get a look at the weather with Kate Kinsella.
Good evening. Well, it has been another predominantly cloudy.
There are currently 2 more strikes planned for September. Are you saying that this could continue? It sounds to me as though we're a long way away from a resolution.
Well, we are. Well, people, as it were, are not prepared to engage, you know, because the thing is, if you're going to get a resolution, you need to engage. You don't necessarily have to like what the other side is saying, but you need to engage. And if you stop engaging, then you're not going to get a resolution. We're happy to engage at any time, any place, a bit, you know, So in your view, sorry that I have to cut you short, but in your view, you're saying that at the moment we are a long way away from a resolution. Well, until South Western Railway say, come on, let's talk, and let's talk about these proposals and see if we can't make a way forward, yes, we are.
OK, thank you so much. That's Mick Tosh there from the RMT Union discussing strike action on South Western. Well, Reigate and Banstead Councillor Graham Knight has been listening to that. Graham, 88% of burglary investigations closed without identifying a suspect. Have Surrey Police got their priorities wrong?
Yeah, I think they have. And I should also say that every time that they actually identify a perpetrator, that's only 10% of cases, and of those, only 1 in 2 are actually charged.
Those are very worrying figures. What are people telling you out on the street?
Burglary is incredibly traumatic. It causes financial loss, and it's just not just in my ward either. I think right through the borough, we as Surrey taxpayers pay £117 million towards the Surrey Police budget, and I'm just wondering, whether their priorities, which are laudable anyway, cybercrime, online grooming, and counter-terrorism, but crimes which actually affect us, you and me, in the community, doesn't seem to be getting such a high priority.
Well, you talk about a very high number, millions and millions of pounds going into the police force, but of course the force is going to say, look, we're actually having funding cut and we're doing the best that we can. Are they?
I'm going to say no.